That's why you can follow our personal Twitter at the show's Twitter page is @_JD Sports. You can
Why is that still a thing?
watch the show if you just look up JD Sports Show on YouTube. Same with SoundCloud.
Correct. All the description stuff is what he means to say.
Dwight, are you still mourning? I thought you're black. Well, I'm still celebrating. I have my Brian Dawkins Clemson jersey on, his college jersey, Hall of Fame. He's getting a Super Bowl ring because he's an executive with the Eagles and they won the Super Bowl this year.
If I have to keep hearing about this Eagles Super Bowl victory, I might just quit doing this.
It might be what we open the show up with for a while.
I might just not show up anymore.
Do you want to recap the Super Bowl again? I'm in.
No.
I've watched it a couple more times.
I bet you have.
About 3-4 more times in the last 3 weeks.
I bet you have. You know it word for word, don't you?
Not yet. Dwight, how was your weekend?
It was alright. I'm still stuck on this Philadelphia thing.
Your life is still hindered by it every day, the way my life is still up,
but
it's brought up by it, you know.
Brighten.
The lights are brighter. So I have good news.
Do you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact this will put a smile on your face.
I doubt it.
Since you are more than just my co-host, you are my brother. We've talked about this off air, but I can announce that I'm having a child.
He is.
So,
alright.
See, I knew that would make him a little happier. That makes everyone happier.
Although, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna have to blame this
absolutely.
child for my misery. Does this child understand this? Did you explain this to this child yet?
Not yet, but I will.
Because I'm going to.
Dwight and I both agree the reason the Eagles won the Super Bowl is because
I said that immediately.
Yes.
The week before.
It was the week before the Super Bowl. We both said, well, because I'm having a child.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, we're roughly 8 weeks along, a little further once this video will be up. But so October 1st is looking like the due date, so we're very excited. We'll know the gender somewhere between like April, May-ish. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. Yeah. It's exciting time for me and my now family.
That's crazy.
To get into the little bit of sports that was happening over the last week, because we've talked a lot of football, and I'm sure I'll recap a little bit of football, because there was a couple small football things I did want to talk about. Nothing Dwight hasn't already gone over with this show and already made fun of other shows talking about, but
I was going to say, I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about with football right now.
We'll get into the future of the NBA, present, future, and then future. But did you watch any of the All-Star weekend? I know we watched a little bit of the All-Star game together, the first half of the All-Star game, but did you watch the dunk contest, the three-point contest?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the first half of the All-Star game after
I left. You didn't watch it?
No, I went to bed, and the halftime show was going, and
I caught the end of it.
Good.
I caught the end of it.
I wasn't pressed to see the shit, plus I had to go to work, so
I hear you.
I wasn't.
I didn't have anything going on the next day, so.
There you go. But no, I watched the Saturday night thing. I watch it every single year, regardless of whether I'm excited for it or not. And honestly, this was one of those times where I was like, damn, it's here. Like, it just fell here. We didn't even talk about it last week. I thought it was...
We were going to.
I thought it was this weekend, actually.
I knew it was this week. I knew it was last weekend. I forget why we went long last weekend just talking about really nonsense overall.
I didn't think about it at all.
I knew it was coming up. Here's how I look at it. The reason why I wasn't super pressed to talk about it, and I'll ask you your opinion on it then. Honestly, man, I would say 8 of the last 10 years, it hasn't been all that good. And honestly, even you can go back the last 20 years, how good was it the 10 years prior to the last 10 years? Like, the 90s was really good, but like...
You talking about the dunk contest or the whole event?
The dunk contest, because the event itself is fun. The three-point contest will always be cool
fantastic.
to me. Steph Curry last year put on a show, and him and Clay those years, year after year after year, going against each other. That was very fun. I like the three-point contest. I will always go back and watch the entire three-point contest in its order.
Because it's always like it always takes just that player and that skill set. It doesn't like.
But the main event of the show that takes the longest is it's weak.
Honestly, this year didn't take that long. It was very quick.
Oh really?
Okay. Well, see, they dumbed it down a little bit with as far as like the amount of misses that they're allowing and the amount of retries and all that. And plus, they actually cut down a round, so now it's the top 2 go to the finals. There's no 3 rounds anymore. It's just 2.
I remember last year we watched it together. You came to my house and we watched it. We were drinking with my parents. That was and I said last year like I didn't care if we caught it or not if I was going to watch it. We ended up watching it, but last year's format was a little different if I'm not mistaken. Was this year's good? Was that format good that it went quicker?
I don't know. It kind of felt like it was too quick though. Like I'd say keep the extra round. I just don't think it.
How were the dunks?
I was gonna say I just don't know if the dunks are necessarily holding up their end. It doesn't matter how
many rounds,
and how many attempts and stuff you have. But like it doesn't matter.
Larry Nance Jr. threw the ball off the backboard twice as one of the
right.
creative.
Look. The dunk contest as a whole, to me, was underwhelming. But when you hear other people, I've listened to other people's opinions, they've said that this is one of the better ones in recent years, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Okay, so I didn't watch it in its order, but I watched all the dunks. The dunks themselves that were made were good.
Right.
They look good, but again, I only watched the ones that were made. I didn't say I'm watching in any order.
Right. I mean, it wasn't. It was okay. I'll say that. It was.
Was it boring?
No, it wasn't boring,
Okay.
but it wasn't great either.
That's what you're looking for when it comes to this, right?
I guess I was. I mean,
I
was more so just like. The one thing I took away from it was how I was disappointed that they gave it to they didn't give it to Larry Nance Jr. because I felt like he should have won for that double tap, which in real time you were like, what the hell did he even do? But then you realize he did that double tap on him. That's really impressive.
It is impressive.
I don't think that the dude that was doing the Vince Carter, which
he didn't even do all that well. He didn't do it bad, but it wasn't really on spot. Larry Nance Jr. also doing the dunk that his dad did was he did that spot on.
Right.
So if you're going to compare those two, plus like you said, his dunk before,
I mean, so much better.
You give him the upper hand. He also, I agree, should have won.
The judging in general, I was just like tilting my head.
Is
the
Dr.
entire
J still
time.
a judge?
Yeah, and
he's one of my favorite people. He can't be a judge anymore.
I'm kind of on that boat because they were literally announcing the judges and they were bringing out celebrity after celebrity, DJ Khaled and
I saw.
I forget who the other guy was, and then they brought somebody else out, and I was like,
Kevin Hart, was he a judge?
Yeah, no, maybe not. I don't remember, but I was like, well, why did he bring out celebrities? Can we get some basketball people? Finally, they brought out somebody who I'm drawing a blank on, and then they brought out Dr. J. I was like, okay, cool. But then I noticed as I was watching it, I was like, Dr. J is being the most lenient, forgiving person right now. Like he's giving 9s and 10s and 10s and 10s and 10s. And Khaled's just being Khaled, and he was just, I guess, trying to be funny because he kept going like a point lower than everybody else. And I was like, I get it, but it's not like stop. Like, so I think they need to figure out the judges and the judging. But overall, that event, it was meh. I think the wrong person won. I think Larry Nance Jr. should have won it.
Should
but
they
it wasn't
next year? Maybe like on Twitter somehow.
I tell you what, it wasn't like it was like I think it was 2 years ago when he had what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Boy from Orlando. It wasn't Orlando.
Gordon.
Aaron
Gordon.
Yeah. Him and the other dude when they were battling back and forth for like 2 years.
Yeah, they had.
It wasn't that where it was great. Like those contests were great.
But those were the only two in the last like 8 years I liked, 10 years I liked. That's why I didn't go out of my way to watch it this year. It just wasn't gonna really entertain me. I didn't think.
Right, and those were very good. As far as the fan voting thing goes, no, I don't want to see that because we've done that and no.
No, I agree. I'm just asking what the best option is.
I don't want to see fan
just get
voting.
different judges out there. Get like Vince Carter to come out.
I don't know. Get other judges. I don't want to see fan voting anything. I don't want to see fans picking the All Stars. I don't want to see fans picking Hall of Fame. I don't want to see fans picking anything because they're biased and ridiculous.
We agree.
No, I do. They did, like I said, they did the fan voting before for the finals. They used to do the like tweet thing or whatever they used to do, and I was
You didn't like it?
No, I didn't like it at all because again, it just becomes a popularity contest. You get good judges, and then let that be for the whole event, start to finish. Don't pick a part of it's going to be the fans, a part of it's going to be this. Like no, that's dumb.
The game,
but get decent judges.
So Saturday night was alright, as you said.
Yeah, the 3-point contest was the 3-point contest.
The skills competition was good.
It's always excellent. Honestly, I didn't watch the skills competition.
I saw Embiid's. I saw the Embiid, the one with Embiid's team.
Shit.
So I look at it this way: the Saturday night competition of that and the hockey, the NHL skills competition, that is usually the better part of the weekend. Like the hockey game is fun, the NBA game is fun, but they're not competitive usually.
No.
they figured out a way to make it a little more competitive in the NHL.
Maybe.
No, they did. Like, they actually have a pretty cool system where they're playing 3-on-3 hockey now. But it takes defense out of it.
That's not real hockey.
Yeah, it takes defense out of it, and you're playing your division versus. There's 4 divisions, so basically you play your division versus someone else's division.
That's
2
not real
periods, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah, no, we agree. It's not real hockey. It's just really fast-paced hockey, and these are like 9 games. Like, anyways.
So that doesn't prove anything to me.
No, it just makes it more competitive.
Sure.
Baseball is competitive because it's impossible to just, like, you don't want to groove a pitch if you're a pitcher, and you can't just not swing for the fences if you're a hitter. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible outside of just running the bases as hard as they can, or not running out a ground ball or fly ball or something like that. You know, the baseball one's kind of hard to throw. Football obviously is hard because of the contact. But basketball, there was a day where it was super competitive.
Extremely competitive, yeah. It's spotty for the past 15 or so
but
years
it got
at least.
Really bad the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
And
Abysmal. To the point where I was even like,
nobody was
I don't even care if I miss it, because usually that is the only All-Star game.
Remember, it used to be
about.
on at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, though, and it used to be, you really wanted to watch it then. So I looked at it this way. This year's game, it had 30 less points in the first quarter. It had, I think, like 47 or 48 less points overall. It wasn't the best NBA game I've ever seen. It wasn't the best All-Star NBA game I've ever seen.
No.
It was competitive.
It was tighter.
It was fun at the end. Like, the last 4 minutes were actually pretty fun because it was like a street ball game of watching Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, you know what I mean, playing together on the same team. Like, it was fun in that aspect. And the last literal play was a defensive stop by LeBron James and Kevin Durant. So that was pretty cool to watch.
Right.
But again, it wasn't earth-shattering. It wasn't like I said, anything super special. But I'm glad that they put a format in there that made it at least not 178 to 149 anymore. Because
they were breaking records every year.
They were trying to get to 200. Look, Anthony Davis scored 52 last year.
Yeah. That's why when those stats and numbers were coming out saying, well, this person has the most points in All-Star history, and I was like, who cares?
Look, the first half, in the second quarter, it turned into a 3-point shooting contest there with about 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. That was the only lull time. The first quarter was kind of tight.
A little bit.
Early second quarter, we were talking throughout most of it, and at one point I said, yeah, but it's pretty competitive. Like, it looked pretty good. And then it just turned into a big 3-point shooting contest where Team LeBron actually closed a huge gap there at the end because they just bombed like 7 or 8 threes in a row, and they made 6 of them, I think.
It turned into a 3-point shooting contest and an alley-oop contest where
right.
I was like, well, this is what it's been
That's
for the
what it was for the last couple of years, right, and that's where it was miserable. And it happened for about 5 minutes there right before the end of half. But again, the second half came out a little tighter, and then the fourth quarter got pretty tight, and the 4 minutes to go, like I said, it got fun. It was the best part to watch. It was the best part to watch in a couple years for an All-Star game. Also, I think why it's overrated, because we haven't had that kind of level of competition in the last 4 minutes of an All-Star game in a very, probably since Kobe was running these All-Star games. And that's also a LeBron thing. That was LeBron's fault. If LeBron plays really hard, the rest of the players are going to play really hard. If LeBron doesn't play really hard, which he did in the last couple years, they aren't going to play really hard. Here's the thing, though.
I don't think it's just him.
I'm not saying it's just him, but is he not? Is he not a leader of the pack? Like, if him, Durant, and Steph Curry don't play hard, because Westbrook played hard every single year, right? He scored 30 plus every single year.
Well, if what you're saying is correct, and they all follow his lead that way, then they're all weak mentally. Then, as far as I'm concerned, because either you're a competitive person or you're not.
We don't.
So you shouldn't have to rely on anybody. A la Russell Westbrook is still out there doing his thing.
We're not going to disagree on that. And I'm not just saying he's the only one, because if he comes in here and says we need to make this mentality a little tighter, maybe he's just the first one saying it and the rest of them are following along because they weren't had that mentality before. Not saying he was the one saying let's make it a weaker game before, but he was just he was one of the outspoken ones. Steph was also, because their names were on the team obviously, but they got the other players to at least invest into it. I would say a little more than usual. Look, there was 30 less points in the first quarter. They got to invest into it a lot more than we could have at least expected beforehand. They were at least putting their hand out to stop him defensively.
Yeah, there was a little more defense than what even I saw, but I don't know. I need to see it keep going. I
would like to see this next year. They did say that they're going to try to figure out a way to televise the draft next year, which is pretty cool.
Mazel. I mean, I saw that and I was like, well, whatever. Adam Silver, you blaming Steph Curry for it, but whatever. Well, it should be televised, but here's my thing. This was my biggest takeaway from the situation, which was So, are you cool with seeing this format moving forward?
Yeah.
You want to keep saying this?
Absolutely. I thought that was a really good idea.
I'm not against it. My argument to it though is why would it take this to have some pride out there? Like that's ridiculous to me. Why isn't West versus East enough?
So you know what I don't think I don't necessarily think that this was what made the pride out there. I think the players got it not just money for charities. There was an extra incentive.
Right. And
the winner got a lot more share of the winnings this year. And
so next year we can just do West versus East.
I think if they did West versus East next year, yeah, I think you would have the same exact level of competition for sure. You would have like that. I think they would play just as hard.
And that's all you need. I understand that this draft thing makes it a little more fun, a little more, dynamic in the sense, and just mixes it
street
up.
Ball.
Right, and that's cool.
You'll never see Kevin Durant and LeBron James playing on the same team, and here they were. Look, because at the end,
say that. Don't say that.
Okay,
don't
but
say never. This is LeBron. This is KD, and this is 2018 and above.
But it was it was a really cool
it's the
moment.
friendship era, bro.
It was a really cool moment to see those two were the two guys, like LeBron D-Steph up at the end, and those two were the two guys who cornered, I forget who it was who had the ball in the last seconds. And they were like, it was cool to see LeBron and Kevin Durant they locked down on defense, and they were the reason on a defensive play with the time running out that the guy couldn't get the ball off, and he literally stood there with the ball in his hands as the clock was running down. Like, it was just really neat to see, and it's something you won't see. I'm not against though East versus West, because especially when it comes to All-Star games and stupid things like home field advantage and stuff like that, I'm a traditionalist. I would rather kind of stay the same way, and I would rather these guys wear their Sixers white home jersey can be the East.
Yeah, can we? Okay, so if we can't
versus the Lakers jersey in the West, Lonzo versus Embiid next year, I would like to see them wearing their home and away jerseys, and I would like to see them East versus West. But I'm not against the schoolyard picking, like I said, because of the final seconds in this game was very cool to see. But yeah, I'm with you on the jersey thing. The jersey thing, go back to your regular home and away. Why not?
Please.
Because there's no home and away, Dwight. There is no home and away.
Well, pick the association or the league or your mama's house. Like, pick a freaking jersey.
You have to wear your dark jersey. You have to wear your light jersey. You can pick any of your light jerseys. You can pick any of your dark jerseys. Yeah, I hear you.
That's cool, but that's not what I was gonna say. But I mean, honestly, I thought the black versus white was dumb to me. I like it looked okay with some of the logos. But I was
since they wanted to be stupid, and
it looked like the Spurs. Like I don't
really like to say stupid a lot, or but since they wanted to be stupid and make the court, since they wanted to make the court stupid and make it red and blue and purple and gold instead of just all purple and gold because we were in LA like they should have. Then what they should have did is they should have made one team purple and gold and one team red and blue. They could have made Steph teams purple and gold and LeBron teams red and blue or something like that.
In one of the competitions, they had a team
in the celebrity one. It was the LA Clippers versus the LA Lakers. I heard Quavo won the Quavo. He's Amigos. He's a rapper from Amigos. He had 19 apparently. So
I have no clue who that is.
Shout out to my man. Quavo.
I used to watch that actually.
Me too, man. I stopped back when T.O. was in it.
Yeah,
I watched
stopped
it back then.
3 or 4 years. I don't even glance at it anymore.
There was a rap one.
I don't even know who half these people are anymore.
There was a rap one this year, and honestly,
I saw Justin Bieber with the Lakers jersey, and I was like, oh my damn.
The only reason I watched the rap one this year is because one of my favorite rappers, other than Jay-Z, is Freddie Gibbs, and Freddie Gibbs was in a rap one. He was with Snoop Dogg, and there was a bunch of people in it, and it was East versus West, and he's from Gary, Indiana, so he was on the East.
Shout out to MJ.
So I actually watched. Shout out to Michael Jackson. The only two dudes I actually know from Gary, Indiana.
The only two dudes that made it out.
Ever, yeah, for sure. And most people don't even know who Freddie Gibbs is. So, but he was on a team. Chris Brown and the Game were on a team on the West team with Snoop and stuff.
Wild.
It was actually pretty funny to watch because these guys obviously are not just rappers. They take this street ball stuff serious.
That's all they do in their spare time.
It was probably better than that celebrity game, other than Quavo putting up 19 because obviously Quavo takes his street ball serious as well, so he wasn't going to go out there and get clowned. But the rapper one was fun. But back to the NBA stuff itself. I'm with you on the going back to East versus West. I don't
even know if you have to do that.
I think next year they should keep this format.
That's fine. I'm just questioning why we had to switch it up this drastically.
I don't think it was that. I think it was the money. I think it's the money that changed everything. And
you can, at some point, test the waters again and put the money right where it's at.
So here's what I really think. And the NHL did this years ago where they did the draft. And they did the draft live on TV on Friday, and then the game was played on Sunday.
I'd watch the draft.
Yeah, I'd watch the draft too. The NHL did this for a good 4 or 5 years, and what they did was the last player in the draft got a car. Like, Kia sponsored the draft, so they gave away the car. So, the 1 year Ovechkin was was literally sitting there with a sign and a beer because he was drinking through the whole thing, and he had a cooler under him, and he was like, his sign said "Don't pick me" because he wanted the car. He actually got the car and gave it away to charity, if I'm not mistaken. Or the guy who won the car gave it to him and he gave it away to charity. That's the whole reason. So he wanted to be picked last for that reason. Like he made it fun. But I'm not saying do something like that. But what I'm saying is the NHL for a good 5 or 6 years did this draft thing and they did it on TV. It worked. Then they ended up making up their own format, and they're back to playing they're playing divisions right now. They're playing the 4 divisions against each other, but they're at least back to playing some kind of East versus West, where I think the NBA can go back to an East versus West the way the NHL eventually did. So again, it was a 5 or 6 year thing, and now they've gone back to they will eventually go back to full East versus West 5-on-5. I would assume.
You know what? I don't even know. Maybe not. The way they're talking about.
They're talking about doing this forever.
No. The way they're talking about really adjusting this playoff format, they might not do this East versus West.
We were going to talk. We were going to talk about that.
They might not do it for the All-Star game if they're not going to do it in the playoffs.
We can get let's get into that right now because I was going to get into the current future of the NBA, but let's get into the future of the NBA when you said that. Okay, so I'm with you on the. But they won't change East versus. There's still going to be an East and a West, and the top 8 from the East will just play the top 8 from the West, like it currently is set up. It would just be 1 through 16 reseeded when you get in there. So they'll still have East and West conferences. For scheduling purposes. So when you're playing your divisions, because you're still going to have divisions and all that to decide this, they just might make it into 2 big divisions. Instead of the 4 divisions that we have in the East and the 4 divisions that we have in the West, you would just make it 2 big divisions in the East, 2 big divisions in the West, and then the top 8 teams from each just get reseeded. So even if there is a better team from the West, say the 10th, 9th, and 10th team are better in the West than the 7th and 8th team in the East, the 7th and 8th team in the East are still going to make it. You know what I mean? So it isn't going to fix the whole best teams making the playoffs. It just is going to fix you getting LeBron James playing Steph Curry in the NBA Finals 4 years in a row. Because instead, one of them would have to go through the Rockets. Like LeBron would have to go through the Rockets instead of Steph Curry this time to get there. Do you know what I mean? To get there, and then not saying he doesn't beat them, but obviously it's a harder road than it is playing the Sixers and then the Wizards and then the Raptors. Or the Sixers, the Celtics, and the Raptors. Even those 3 teams, or even if you went Wizards, Celtics, Raptors, it's still an easier road that way than it is playing. They would play Denver right now, and then you would have to say say they would play the Raptors, and then say they would have to play Houston to get to Golden State, So, like...
I don't even know I don't know if I like that format either. I just want the top 16. That's all I need.
You're never going to get... I know. You're never going to get to that.
Well, clearly if they're having this other conversation, then I'm not. But that's what I would rather have. Yeah, give me the best versus the best. I don't need to see teams just passing by and squeaking in it. I don't think
we need to realign this whole entire thing just because of the way the system's working right now. Because in 7 or 8 years from now, when LeBron James is not
everything. Oh my God, everything you keep bringing back. Well, when LeBron James is gone, it's because he's here.
Okay,
ignore
don't
LeBron James.
This for the next.
Ignore the LeBron situation. Just in general, ignore the fact that LeBron is always the number 1. Listen.
Were you thinking this 10 years ago?
Listen for a sec. Ignore the fact that what this is going to add to that LeBron is always the number 1 seed, right?
Okay.
It's going to make 2 through 16 more or 15 more competitive. It's going to make that tighter because there's so much garbage that is in the playoffs now.
I'm not
especially the East Coast at this point.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying right now, 10 to 12 years ago, did you think that the entire East was garbage like that?
Well, it's been garbage. Yeah.
12 years ago?
Yeah, because that's when the West was absolutely destroying them. Yeah.
So you think that they should just so you're saying even after LeBron, you still think the balance and power. Like I really think I think the NFC is
basing this all on one person.
No. I'm not trying to base this on one person. I'm trying to ask you.
You are.
The power, obviously, right now.
You ignore whoever the king is, and look at the West. Look at the
I'm saying ignore LeBron James. The East is not obviously near as good as the West. I understand that.
It's just garbage.
Okay, what I'm saying is, in 10 years, do you think the East will still be just as garbage? I'm not asking you...
Well, it's been that way for the past 10 years. There's no reason for me to think otherwise, yeah.
But the past 10 years, it only was happening solely because of one person.
The past 10 years, plus the Lakers run, plus that whole run of the Lakers was all a West Coast thing too, man. It's been longer than 10 years.
But I'm saying, so you think
it's been longer than LeBron's
So you
career.
think even back then the Lakers, like you're thinking, I'm saying even back then you think the West was heavily better than the East, because I don't think it was near as tilted back then as it is now.
2000 what? 2? Yeah. Who was in the finals in the East? The Nets. Jason Kidd's Nets.
But then you had Chicago had that run there. No, Chicago didn't have, I'm sorry, Detroit had the run there. Boston had the run there. Orlando, now they lost to LA.
Okay, you're naming top team, one top team.
No, but what I'm saying is so you really think that the bottom like 6 teams in the bottom 6 teams that made the playoffs in the East were not near as good as the bottom? Okay.
Hell no. And that's my biggest problem. And that's why I think there needs to be the top 16 teams in the NBA. I think that creates a hell of a lot more competition straight through the entire tournament, and not just the top versus the top, and then the rest are just here.
I think that
which is what it's been for the past 20 years.
I think the whole excuse of travel is BS, and I don't mind them doing the whole 16. I don't care if they do it that way. I'm okay with it being the top teams versus the top teams. I want the most competitive that we can possibly get, and I want the best series and matchup that we can possibly get. I watch soccer. I watch a lot of European soccer, and that's how European soccer works. They don't care where you reside. They literally right now. My favorite team, Barcelona, is playing Chelsea. Right now, it's called the Premier League. They're playing in a league where they normally don't play each other like in their normal leagues, but it's kind of got to be set up that way in American sports here soon, where you're just getting the best teams to play the best teams at your sport, because
should be always.
I'm not against it then. That's what I'm saying. I watch a lot of soccer, so I'm not against them going to that kind of format that you're talking about. I'm not even against them taking the top teams from the East and the top 8 teams from the West and realigning them 1 through 16 when it gets to the playoffs. I would rather your way, but if the closest thing we can get is top 8 and then reseed them, sure, I'm in on that. And also the travel thing that they're saying is a problem is BS. One, how do they do the NBA Finals? 2 games, 2 days off. They do 2 games, it goes 2 days, it goes game 1, day off, game 2, 2 days off, then you travel to the other one, 3 games in 5 days, 2 days off, and then game 6 and 7 with a day in between if you need that. They can just do that. Just do that through Series 1 through the finals then. I don't care if that ends up happening. I would like the traditional format of 2-2-1-1-1, but I don't mind if that's what we have to do for travel purposes, go 2-3-2. Then that's what we have to do for travel purposes to get the best matchups. Either way, Game 7 and honestly Game 6 and 7 in your home court is better than just Game 7 in your home court. So either way, you have the advantage as the team, as the higher seed. You're going to the other place for 3 games no matter how you look at it. If you're going 7 games, you're getting your 2 most important games at home anyways, and you can honestly argue that the first game is important. So you get 3 of the most important games of the series if you have to go all 7 at home. I don't see the disadvantage there on if that's what they have to go through 2-3-2, so you can get a Cavs versus Denver, which would be the seeding as of right now to play each other for travel purposes, because that's what they're saying. The reason for that they won't do this right now is because of travel purposes. But you already have West Coast trips, you know. We live in a society now where you can fly from California to LA in 6 hours, less than 6 hours.
Yeah, I don't buy it. Yeah.
On a red eye, and the Lakers have their own private jets, so there's ways to figure this out, you know.
They can figure it out. But you were saying just the competition in general in the past 10 years, which made me just randomly think. Do you consider the first round the best ever? Right.
No.
What have people been saying? The first round is garbage. Outside of what? 4 versus 5.
Make it a 3-game series, or.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying what has been the most compelling, the most competitive series have tended to be in that 4 versus 5. That I guess it's legendary at this point. That Bulls versus Celtics series that was going and over. Those 4 or 5 seed. That's literally the matchup in the first round. Other than that, you can pretty much just ignore the entire first round of the NBA playoffs for the past ever.
There hasn't been an upset
because
in
either
the first
it's a
round.
Sweep or
there hasn't been an upset in the first round in outside of a 4 versus 5, and I think it was 11 years. Or
that's
something
not
like
an
that.
upset.
But I'm saying outside of the 4 versus 5, yeah, right. they're outside of the 5 beating the 4. No lower seed has beaten a higher seed in over 11 years. I think what it is. The Reggie Miller Knicks, the Reggie Miller Pacers beating the Knicks is the last time that it happened, and that was what
20 years ago.
Yeah, so
at this point. Damn.
That's the most legendary one.
98?
Yeah, and I think there was only one after that. I'm pretty sure there was one after that. That's why I said 11 years. I saw the stat like last year sometime. But yeah, like that's one of the last 3. I'm pretty sure. So
bro, 20 years has been since then.
that's a long. And that's what I'm so. And in 20 years, it's only happened 3 times. I mean, that's not. And one of the times literally took a game 6. A game 5. Reggie Miller making 11 points in 7 seconds or whatever it was.
47 points in 12 seconds.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Anything that will make this overall experience for the NBA playoffs more competitive, I'm in. Whatever, I don't know what the solution is. I think I know, but if that's not it, then whatever. If they want to go this other route, fine. But they do need to make an adjustment, and it needs to happen, preferably next year, since they clearly can't do it now. But
I don't think they're going to be able to do it for another couple of years, like 2 or 3 years. But yeah, I think it needs to happen as soon as they possibly. I don't know. I'm in if they try it next year, but I just don't think they will.
Adam Silver, I'll give him one thing. He's always somebody that is
they've been pretty much on top of things.
He tries to change things quicker than anybody, and he tends to do so. So
I'd like to see it happen. So the current way it's laid out is East versus West. Or is East and West still? You're still talking of your 1 through 8 in the East, your 1 through 8 in the West. This year itself. Before we get to the West, because the West is hectic.
Because it's real.
The Raptors have been overproductive. They've been better than a lot of people thought. The Celtics are still obviously playing pretty well. And the Cavaliers are only, 2-3 games with the new roster, but seem like a new roster. Who do you have winning the East this year?
Well, I can take the Raptors out. I never believe the Raptors. Raptors do this every single year. The Raptors are always the top 3, and they have been for the past several years. But then they take a shit in the playoffs. Yeah. Somebody doesn't show up. Nobody shows up.
DeRozan and Lowry had horrible playoff series.
Kyle Lowry's shooting, jump shots at 3 in the morning because he's the only one that ever does that.
Right.
So they're out. They're out of the conversation for me. Who was the other team you named out the Cavs?
The Celtics.
Celtics. I need to see more out of them. But they're two peaks and valleys.
I like their coach.
They're 2 peaks and valleys. I don't know if they can compete with the. I need to see more of the Cavs too. First of all,
I'm not the biggest Kyrie fan, but he's good. Obviously, he's extremely good, and now Horford is very good.
Speaking of Kyrie, we've never had this conversation, but
Flatter?
No. But shout out to everybody that remember the whole get rid of Kyrie. They don't need him.
Yeah.
So can we say that the Celtics were wrong and you were wrong for dogging Kyrie Irving because they got LeBron? That's all that mattered. Remember? Because you kept saying, well, they can't win with Kyrie. Remember that? You used to dog them, but the Celtics are winning with Kyrie.
But they're still playing the same way IT played with the Celtics. Like, they were winning that with that formula of basketball. They're still going to make the playoffs.
I told you before. You're going to give me the butts.
They're still going to be a top 3 team in the East. I said that before, after the trade was made.
You're Jarrett Hood.
It's just not a championship way basketball. Even if they beat the Cavaliers, do they beat Golden State? Do they beat Golden State?
Back to what I was saying before you cut me off.
Yeah.
Remember when you were saying that, and how the Cavs didn't need them, and then they got rid of him, and then they proceeded to suck, right? They took a giant shit because they were the Cavs and they were garbage. Yeah. And, supposedly, a couple weeks ago we were saying how, well, it's LeBron's team. No, we always say that LeBron's team sucked, but then they're always there. Well, they really weren't going to be there. And apparently they panicked because they blew it up the whole team. So they probably should have kept Kyrie.
Maybe, but they still don't beat Golden State if they have Kyrie. But keep going.
Nobody, I wasn't making that point. I was just asking, were they not better with Kyrie?
Than they were before the trade with Kyrie? Yeah, but I didn't say I didn't say the trading away Kyrie made them better. I just said that that they are better off without Kyrie. The way he plays basketball is not going. They weren't a better basketball team without Kyrie. Like, Kyrie's still good. You didn't know what you were getting out of IT, but the style of basketball that the Celtics were playing with IT and they are playing with Kyrie. The same thing that I was saying before. Westbrook changed his style, and finally Westbrook has changed his style. And he's getting Paul George more involved. Look, the reason
didn't need to change his style. They went to the finals and he was a baller. What do you mean change his style? He didn't even change his style. The Cavs were doing just fine.
As I always say, I wish Iverson would have changed his style a lot earlier in his career, and that's the same way that Kyrie and the way that Westbrook played. They are both ridiculously talented, but they both just isolated basketball one-on-one by yourself as a point guard, especially in today's NBA. And as a guard, even in Iverson's era, wasn't the best idea, but at least the shooting guards in that era could do a lot more isolation basketball, a la Kobe. But
Kyrie Irving got a championship with the Cavs. What's your point?
They
won.
Can Kyrie Irving at that time, could Kyrie Irving get a championship by himself is what I'm asking though. Can he lead a team as the superstar by himself? I'm not saying
it hasn't been done. He didn't have, again, we want to go back to the help conversation?
Well, and how many times did I say I'm not going to judge him on what he did before LeBron just on the basis of that's not fair. They were the worst roster in basketball that I've ever seen up to that point. So we're not going to disagree, but I mean, as the star player in Boston, do you believe, let's just take LeBron out of the equation, they beat the Cavaliers, they get to the finals, do you believe that they can beat Golden State or the Spurs or Houston?
I don't believe anybody in the East Coast can, no.
And I'm saying, but do you believe he could be the centerpiece of any team, the Spurs or the Rockets?
Why not?
That basketball. The reason I don't believe it is because that basketball is just not a style of basketball that I think that can win in the NBA or
Russell
at least
Westbrook
win you champions.
Almost did it, so.
No, but he didn't win. But again, it's still not proven. Neither of them have championships by doing that style.
You're saying something, but then you're countering. You're asking me a question. I'm saying an answer, and you're saying, but he didn't prove it. I understand that. You're asking me, do I think it can happen? Sure. Why not?
All right.
It has been proven. Correct.
No one has, and that's why
correct.
I just don't.
Oh, correct.
I'm the biggest fan of Iverson. I'm the biggest fan of Melo, and both of those guys.
Iverson took him to the championship.
But there was no way in shape or form that style of basketball was ever going to win a championship. And when I was 11, don't get me wrong,
Guess what?
I was in love with it, and I wanted him to do more of it, and I wanted him to be a 90% usage rating instead of just a 65% usage rating. But
you know how
that's not how it works.
You say that, but you know how Allen Iverson wins a championship? If he faces an equal bum team out of the West, then yeah, it does happen.
But he was going against the Lakers.
Right.
Okay, but you're always going to have the Golden State Warriors. You're always going to have the Lakers.
Not necessarily.
You're always going to have the Spurs.
Not necessarily.
This year's Rockets team.
Not necessarily. You never know.
No one individual has ever drugged their team to the championship by themselves.
You take the one individual thing so far. I think I think the Celtics can match up with the Cavs. Do I think it's going to happen? Do I think the Cavs are going to win?
Yeah, but
if I had to put money on it, yeah.
I'm picking the Cavs as well to win the East.
And that's stupid on both of our fronts because it's based on nothing other than his name's LeBron and
he's different in the playoffs. All these players are different in the playoffs. The top superstars are different in the playoffs, and LeBron has proven nothing to be but the most unstoppable force individually, which was not enough to beat Golden State a couple years ago in the playoffs in the last decade.
If the Celtics had Gordon Hayward, would I be having a conversation? Probably.
That's what I'm saying. So, and I also...
Probably.
Do you think that Gordon Hayward... Okay.
He ain't LeBron James,
but I'm saying...
Yeah.
No. But I'm not saying that because, again, let's just say with Gordon Hayward, they beat LeBron James. Okay, so you have the Celtics versus the Warriors. Do you think Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, and Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie Irving is the best player then out of those three, do you think that is enough? Do you think Kyrie Irving, being the superstar of a team, back to my original point, could be the guy to do it?
You don't have to isolate the Kyrie Irving situation.
But he isolates himself.
Because I don't think LeBron James is going to do it either.
I don't either.
No. So I guess the answer is no. But you don't need to isolate who the player is. I don't think anybody's going to be the Warriors.
That's my point on the individual, though. But
there's no point on the individual at that point. I was saying, do the Cavs miss Kyrie, and was that a bad move? The answer would be yes, because they were a better team, and they won. Could they beat the Warriors again? I don't know. Probably not. I would have put my money on it, but they did it. They freaking did it. Would they do it again? I don't know. Probably not, like I said.
And we agreed at the time they should have gotten a lot more for Kyrie. There was no way they were going to keep Kyrie. Kyrie obviously said he was never going to play for them again. So there was nothing that they could do other than trade him. But we agreed at the time. There's no question. And I don't want you to think that I for some reason thought that they should have done more with they should have kept Kyrie. I just don't think they should have kept Kyrie. I just think that they should have gotten more for him in return at that time. We didn't know what Isaiah Thomas was going to do.
Nothing. The Cavs got played.
But we didn't know what they were going to get for Isaiah Thomas at the time. We both said the only way that they could save that trade, we both said that at the time, was the only way that they could save the trade is if Isaiah Thomas came out and played the way that Isaiah Thomas did the last year. But let's be honest with you. Outside of this year, and I mean, only a couple games with the Lakers, so maybe, and he has already trended that way with the Lakers early. Before even he was a Celtic, like the 2 years before that when he was with Sacramento, his usage rating when he was in the game, he was really good. So this injury, him coming off of this injury, trying to play differently, obviously not gelling well in Cleveland, maybe that all played a part. I still think Isaiah Thomas has a future as a really good player in the NBA. The only issue is he going to end up being overpaid somewhere? Which everyone's overpaid in the NBA, I know, but I'm talking, does he deserve a max deal? And people are talking about giving him a max deal next year, or at least that's what he's looking for. So I don't know if he deserves that.
Would you be okay with him joining Embiid and taking that max deal?
I don't want them to give him a max. I don't want them to give him a max deal.
Why
no.
not? You put him with Embiid, you don't want that? With all those other supposedly trusted process
I want him, not
kids out there?
I want him, I don't want the max deal.
That's wild. Well, who else are you paying? Because you ain't getting nobody else.
Well, they paid Embiid. They're gonna have to pay Simmons next year, and then
you ain't maxing than Simmons, so okay.
But they might.
Well, that's ridiculous too, because.
But when they maxed Embiid, people said it was ridiculous, and now he's putting up numbers that would put him like the 7th best player in the NBA.
He's a 7 foot tall freak, and that's something that you can't just let walk away.
Agreed, but I don't think that they can let Ben Simmons walk away either. He's gonna be part of the centerpiece. Look, he has a better chance of being.
Okay, so then you can max 3 players. What's the problem?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So they max those 2, and then you leave money for somebody else.
Isaiah Thomas, and you keep the rest of these kids and no-name guys out there. I think that's a decent little lineup.
I'm not saying it's not a decent lineup. I just personally don't want to. Because I don't think Isaiah Thomas is worth a max deal. So like you're asking the wrong person.
If you get the Celtics Isaiah Thomas, you don't want that for the max. You don't want that.
They're not going to use him the way the Celtics did.
Just answer the question.
They're not going to use him the way the Celtics did. No, because again, I don't think he's worth the max deal.
Using the way I'm not asking that. I'm asking, do you want that?
I want him, yes, not for the max deal. I want Isaiah Thomas. There's no question. I want him, his talent. If I can get him for less than the max deal, for sure. But if I got to go max deal, then no, there's no way. Like I said,
we don't know if he's going to get a max deal at this point.
But he's saying he's not going to play for anything less than a max deal next year.
And his agent said he ain't going to be coming off the bench either, and that was a lie. So
we agree. So if he would like to take a little bit less money and come to Philadelphia, yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't pay him a lot as well. I'm not saying while I'm saying he shouldn't get the max deal, I'm not saying he shouldn't be in that those tiers right below it. I just
gonna say that's kind of ignorant on your part, considering y'all can't get anybody. If you can get Isaiah Thomas, you better give that boy that money.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to go out of their way and draft the team that they have around them.
You better max him out if he wants. If he said, we're just talking hypotheticals, obviously, but if he said, yeah, I want to come to Philadelphia, and he says, I want max money, you better give that man that max money. You ain't getting nobody else.
I will not be mad at the front office if they said no because they didn't want to give max money. I just don't think he deserves max money. It's just how.
That's ridiculous. For a team that can't ever get anybody who they don't draft, and he's saying, I don't want to give him max money. This guy.
It doesn't mean just because one person says they want to come to your team that you should just start making bad moves financially.
So LeBron wants max money. You giving him max money, though?
Yes. Absolutely, because LeBron's not going to want max money for more than 2 years, so he's not going to hinder you down the road. Isaiah Thomas is going to want a 4 or 5 year deal.
Breaking news, bro. LeBron's going to hurt you a little more in the short run. You ain't going to be able to afford to sign Ben Simmons. So
do you think that you want
LeBron and Embiid then?
Do you think LeBron James? You said you can sign 3 max players, right? So why wouldn't you be able to sign those 3?
Because LeBron's going to want a hell of a lot more money.
But you can't. There's a max deal for a reason. You can't sign over max. And there's room for 3 max deals.
I don't know the recipe, bro. I'm just talking out my ass right now. I don't take this stuff as seriously. We're just talking. We're having guy conversation. We ain't having an analytical conversation right now. I'm talking to you as a sports fan.
So, wouldn't you take LeBron over Isaiah Thomas? So if you can get LeBron for 2 years?
Fuck no. What for? He's old. No, he's old.
You don't think you have a better chance of making the finals with LeBron than you do with Isaiah Thomas?
I have a better chance of adding other pieces with Isaiah Thomas. A younger Isaiah Thomas. I don't want LeBron James. He's old. For what? The king. He's 30. How old is he?
Do you think he's making the finals this year or not?
In the East?
Yeah. Next year, if you're the Sixers and you had a chance to sign him or Isaiah Thomas, would you pick him or Isaiah Thomas?
As I said, the 76ers would be bums not to sign anybody to a max deal.
But would you sign if you had to pick between him or Isaiah Thomas?
Well, I'm going to assume the 76ers would want LeBron because they have Embiid, so they could probably think that they would win immediately.
All right.
Does Dwight want him? No.
All right.
No, he's an old-ass man.
But that's my point, though.
You didn't make a point. You didn't make a point.
The West.
No, we're not changing the subject. No, go back to LeBron James. Why Why would you want
what?
LeBron James over?
Why would I want LeBron
over Isaiah?
Because
Why?
he gives you right now
3 years
automatically
ago.
any franchise in the East an opportunity to go to the finals next year. An opportunity. I'm not saying it's a lock. I'm saying the better opportunity. It gives the Sixers exponentially a better opportunity to go to the NBA Finals next year if they were to sign LeBron James in the offseason this year.
So you want to trust the process for 2 more years and then blow it up again?
Well, if he only takes max deal for 2 years, then you have the extra max deal there for the year after that.
I don't take old man LeBron James. The man is old, man. He's running down. Like if I'm the San Antonio Spurs and you asking me this question, sure, because
I still think
Pop understands how to handle that.
Look, as a Sixers fan, I without question take him. I think you're right. I think for LeBron, when you're talking but would you not, if you're LeBron, now I'm not saying this is going to happen, I'm just saying if you were making a case for the Sixers, look at it as a way, well, they're younger, so they're going to be able to put me on the bench a little more in the regular season, give me a longer postseason run. At least I'm just saying, that's hypothetical. I'm not saying there's any opposite.
Nobody's
real
talking
chance.
real life right now, bro. We're talking hypotheticals. We're talking as sports fans. This is what we do. I don't know. They keep saying this dumb thing with LeBron about going to the Lakers because they're young, and I'm just like, well, why would he want to do that? Because I don't think he's going to make the difference.
I think the Lakers
of them going to the finals and winning a title.
2 years away from, or a year and a half away from where the Sixers are right now. Like the Sixers are kind of making those strides where they're the 6th team in the East right now, right? The Lakers in 2 years you would expect them to be about the 6th team in the West if they continued on this path without a top player. But if they get a Paul George or a LeBron this year, you're looking at one to be a top 3 team next year in the West without question. But you would think, at least if you're comparing just the Lakers and the Sixers, which obviously you have 30 or 28 other teams to compare, but if you're comparing just those two, wouldn't you think LeBron would want to go maybe to Philly because they have finished higher? And like you said, what do you look around in LA to think is the younger pieces that he would want to play with? The thought with LA would be
supposedly it's Lonzo Ball, and I don't buy Lonzo Ball, so you can't.
So if you're saying now, I'm not saying Dwight. I'm saying just as a person looking at it, would you pick Philadelphia or LA if you were the free agent? If you were LeBron next year on where you're going? Because I'm with you on the whole. There's more questions on the LA young team where at least the questions with the Sixers are just health. They have talent. Now it's just can they stay healthy and stay on the court in the future would be your biggest question.
I don't know if they have talent. They have a piece that is definitely going to be there.
Ben Simmons and Embiid.
I'll let you slide on Embiid or on Simmons. I was going to say, yeah, Embiid. I'll let you slide on Simmons. LA is more so the question marks.
Yeah, right. So, but I'm saying, so the immediate future you would have to pick just if you're talking next year, Philadelphia over LA. But the thing would be, if you're looking at it, LeBron's case, LA has more cap space, so you can go get a Paul George, a Westbrook, things like that, than you would be in Philly. Philly's kind of a set thing where when you go there, you're not going to be able to probably blow the team up the way that you are able to in LA. LA, they can swing.
He likes to do that.
Right, and that's what in LA you could swing where you can literally just make basically a brand new franchise next year by trading Lonzo away if you didn't want a Lonzo Ball for some talent. Would you take that? Would you take LeBron as long as he got rid of Lonzo? Is that a fair trade-off for Dwight?
No, I'll take the LeVar Ball over LeBron James every day of the week. Every single day of the week. What if LeBron gives you a championship? I don't want LeBron to put up a championship in LA.
LeBron and Paul George, you're looking at.
I do not want to see him put up a championship.
You keep telling me that. I don't.
You can shrug it off like I'm lying.
I'm not saying you're lying. It's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. I'm not a fan of him. Like, what do you want? What do you want? Some people don't like certain players. Some people don't like certain teams. Mine just happens to be LeBron James. What's the problem? I don't want him to join the Lakers. Look, because the Dwight Howard thing just so happened to work in my favor, but I was crazy for that too, right? Okay, fine. I didn't want to see it with him. I don't want to see it with LeBron. I don't like stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, East Coast. Stay over there. That's fine. Go somewhere else.
I've just never disliked a player, I think, so much that I wouldn't cheer for them if they were on a championship team of mine. So.
As I said, I cheer for my team. I don't cheer for individuals. So if he came to the Lakers, yeah, I'm going to cheer for the Lakers. I'm not going to cheer for him. I don't have to.
I like to see individuals do well, but yeah, it's my team over individuals.
You have players you root against?
Players I root against, but again, if they came to Philadelphia and were part of a championship team,
Man, so you would have been all in on Paul Pierce.
I wouldn't have been all in, but I would have been
a championship, huh?
But as I said, yes, if they would have won the championship, I wouldn't be the biggest Paul Pierce fan, but I'd be like, hey, we got a championship, so we'll take it. But no, I wouldn't be a huge Paul Pierce fan.
So there it is.
But I'll be excited that they won a championship.
That's what I just said. So what did I say differently?
You told me that you don't want to see him come and win a championship there. I'm not.
I don't want to see him.
But I'm saying, but I don't care if Paul Pierce were to come to Philadelphia tomorrow and that's what made them win the championship. Then I'll take Paul Pierce being a Sixer and then winning a championship all day of the week.
I'm good.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to say.
I don't want to see LeBron in those colors. You're not a Kobe fan. You don't understand. You're not a Lakers fan. You don't understand. It's just a rivalry. That's just what it is. And that's for life. I think about here. We don't.
Did you see the top?
We don't do the friendship.
Did you see the top 20 overall that ESPN put out of all time?
No.
I thought it was kind of. I thought they had Dr. J a little low. Who else did I thought they had a little low?
Who's number 1?
MJ.
Who's number 2?
Wilt.
Who's number 3?
LeBron.
Knock it off. Where was Kobe?
8, 9. Dr. J was 12.
That's why I don't look at these things anymore. Whatever. That's what you said. Wilt was number 2.
I'm pretty sure it was Wilt.
What was Shaq?
Like 5 or 6. Bill Russell, I think, was in the top 5. Yeah, I mean, I
Whatever. I can go on a website right now and come up with my own, and it would be Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Robert Horry. Like, I can make up my own dumb list too. And
I hear you.
It doesn't make it accurate.
It was ESPN.
Whatever. So where was Kareem? There's a lot of names out. I'm hearing before.
Maybe Kareem was the second. I forget who the second one was.
I'm hearing a lot of names before I should be hearing LeBron James. Take Kobe out of the equation,
like
fine, but I just named like 4 other people that I haven't heard.
Like I said, and I won't continue to say, I think that him and Jordan are the top 2 players of all time, but
whatever.
It's hard to.
Where's James Worthy? Like, there's so many names that you didn't list in that situation.
Absolutely, the top 20. That's a very hard list to go down and say. Embiid, I think, put it the best when he was talking to Al Horford on the bench. He said, "Everyone likes to tell me that Wilt Chamberlain played a bunch against the small guys, but he said, but I wasn't even old enough or watching American sports at the time when MJ was around. So he's like, so I always watch these guys just on their highlights, and he was like, and I'm telling you, Wilt Chamberlain looks as athletic as any of us." And I was laughing because he's right. Like, when you watch Wilt Chamberlain's videos, compared to the guys around him, he looks ridiculously athletic, and like as athletic as the players out there today. He's not. It was just a different game, though, as well. Shaq would put up 63 in today's game. I think Wilt would put up, 70
Shaq
in today's game.
Wait, what?
They would just both be lost defensively. It's just a different game because now...
No, we play outside, inside. Rockets, we don't play inside, outside anymore. What you talking about?
The Houston Rockets and the
you watched
Golden
that
State
Shaq
Warriors.
Kobe conversation, didn't you?
I actually didn't, but you sent me the thing.
You're a bum for not watching that.
I know, I had it saved. I will watch it because I wanted to see what they were talking about.
If
because
you
again,
haven't seen it yet.
as I've always said, as I've always said, my argument would be it's not that I don't think they would be good offensively because I think Wilt and Shaq would both put up 60 plus per game in today's era because who's stopping them? Who is stopping them down low?
I've been saying that, but you don't want to keep saying that. Nobody plays like that. We don't play that way anymore. Nobody plays that way anymore.
Again, but it's not that I don't think that they would score 63. It's that defensively they would be lost. Defensively, there isn't enough shots missed anymore for them to just roam the paint.
I don't feel like this has been an argument, but fine. Regardless, go watch that one-on-one Shaq and Kobe. It's excellent. It really is. It's insightful. Kobe he's one of the most insightful basketball people I've ever heard speak ever. Period. I kind of wish he was like a broadcaster or something.
Oh my gosh! I'd love to hear him as an analyst. He's very good.
And he's excellent in this. And they had that conversation about.
He's in depth.
Yeah.
That Kobe Doing Work documentary that Spike Lee did is
fantastic.
one of my favorite things ever because he's breaking down footage of his own game, and it was just.
And Shaq and Kobe. Well, I'm still waiting on that retirement one. He was supposed to be. He did a retirement one where he was spanning his couple months up until his retirement documentary, which I haven't heard anything about it in a while, so I don't know what's up with it. But no, but him and Shaq had that conversation, and Kobe was like, I don't understand why people be having these conversations that you want to be dominant today, defensively, offensively, whatever. He said and he broke it down better than anybody. And I was like, This is what I've been saying. Shaq would dominate the paint defensively, and yes, it would just, you know what? I don't even have to say anything. Go watch the documentary. Go watch the interview, I should say, and listen to what Kobe says about it, and that will be my exact thought on it. Shaq would dominate.
Back to today's.
Mm-hmm.
The West, because we broke down the East.
It's garbage, so the West, yeah.
Houston Rockets are the number 1 team.
Yeah.
I I'm with you. I still think Golden State is far and above the best team in the NBA. Then the Spurs are the third team, and they're 10 games behind the Rockets.
That's dangerous.
The only thing I would say about the Rockets, because my thought on the Raptors in the East, how they're the number 1 seed, is they do have a better bench than usual, so that would be the only thing I thought, but I still think the Cavaliers are going to win the East. The Rockets in the West, the only thing that I think stands a little more to me not thinking they're fake is with James Harden and Chris Paul. Not that I think they're fake, but in comparison to Golden State, who isn't fake in our eyes, right? With James Harden and Chris Paul, they're 28-3.
Mm-hmm.
They're
doing much better than anybody thought.
I didn't know that stat until last week, and it's hard to pick against them.
But you're going to.
Yeah, absolutely, because...
But then they'll say it's hard to pick against them, because no, it's not. You would still pick Golden State 9 times out of 9 times, 10 times out of 10 times.
I'm excited for that series, though.
I'm not.
No? You think Golden State still runs them?
It's an amazing team versus 2 great players, but those 2 great players aren't now.
You think overall Golden State in a 7-game series will handle their business? What about the Thunder coming on strong?
No. I'll be nice to give them, I was going to say 6 now. I'll give them 5.
Do you give the Thunder or the Spurs any chance?
Always. You always got to give the Spurs a chance.
10 games back without Kawhi. The Kawhi thing is the only thing that I would think is up in the air. If they don't have him back in the playoffs, obviously there's not really a good chance of them winning.
Yeah,
beating Golden State. Or maybe the Rockets. But they might be able to beat the Rockets without Kawhi because Aldridge is having a much better year.
What was the other thing you mentioned?
OKC. Do you think they have any chance? They've been playing better. Look, they won. I think it was 13 of their last 16. Like they played very well as of late. They've been fun to watch play basketball. They've gotten each other in. My boy Melo, my favorite player, has taken a step back. But it's been for the betterment of the team. I just don't like Steven Adams.
I still don't think that they even know who to go to though when it's crunch time now. They still play too much ISO basketball to me.
Yeah, in ISO basketball,
it's not just one person. It's the fact that you have 3 people that
enjoy George, and he's playing it. You throw it to Melo and he'll play it.
They all 3 of them play the exact same way, and it's literally the Durant, Harden, Westbrook thing where people were complaining about.
Could you imagine those 3 together right now in OKC? They'd be the best team far and away, and they would have been drafted together, and nobody would look at this the way that they look at Golden State. Golden State and them would always be going back and forth with Houston and the Spurs, and then the winner of that would always end up still playing LeBron's team. So at least now you have a dominant force in the West to roll through everybody. You still picking Golden State right now? Win the West?
Easily. It's not even a conversation.
Yeah, me too.
Still picking them to win the title.
We're both on the same page. I would say right now James Harden might win that MVP this year. He's been having an unbelievable season, numbers-wise.
Maybe. I'm trying to think who else is even in the conversation right now.
I mean, if
somebody from the Thunder, or not the Thunder, somebody from Golden State's going to be in it.
I mean, Durant, yeah.
He always goes straight to Durant, like Steve.
He has the best numbers right now.
Steph Curry's never out there.
Yeah, but his numbers overall aren't as good as Durant's.
It's not about the numbers. It's about who's the most valuable to your team.
It's true.
Okay. So I'm trying to think who else would even be in it at this point.
LBJ?
No.
If they make a run and take over that first in the East, they'll give it to him at some point, right?
Then I don't think LeBron's getting another one.
I don't know if he gets another one or not.
I don't think he gets another one. And no, you can't be ass or meh for
Kyrie?
That whole run and then all of a sudden turn around and expect
your boy, but I don't think Kyrie is near as good as Harden or Durant has been this year. I think
Kyrie's probably in a conversation. He's not going to get it. I think
Harden should get it. If the season ended right now, I'd give it to Harden, personally.
Kyrie's probably in the conversation. But after the top probably 2, there's a drop.
Clippers, Jazz, and Pelicans are all fighting for 8th in the East right now. That seems like those are going to be the 3 teams here down the stretch in the last 2 months. Who are you taking? You got to take 2 of them: Clippers, Jazz, Pelicans.
I know nothing about the Jazz, so they're out.
So you're taking
Pelicans? They have Anthony Davis at least.
I'm taking the Pelicans and the Jazz. I don't think the Clippers make the playoffs.
Who's on the Clippers anymore?
Louisville.
Like I said, I know absolutely nothing about Utah. I guess I have to go those 2 by default. I don't know who the hell's even on Utah anymore. Gordon. I don't.
Rodney Hood. No.
Yeah, they have to fall. They're falling.
There's no way they're going to. Didn't the kid that won the 3-point contest, the rookie, him and Ben Simmons are fighting for Rookie of the Year. Yeah. Why am I? His name is slipped my mind. I do like him. Him and Ben Simmons are fighting for Rookie of the Year. He was the 9th pick, and
Great.
My favorite quote by him, right, going into the draft, I think it was Adrian Wojnarowski, the ESPN analyst, said to him, "You're going to be a lottery pick, man," and he laughed and was like, "No, I'll be lucky if I'm in the first round." He ended up being the 9th pick, right? And after the draft, Adrian Wojnarowski was like, "I told you you were going to be a lottery pick. Why were you, like, so surprised?" And he was like, "Yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't get it." Dude's fighting with Ben Simmons right now to be the Rookie of the Year without, like, question of his draft class, which is this year. Obviously, Ben Simmons got hurt last year, so he was in the draft class before. But of his draft class, he's been by far and away the best player. So shout out, I forget his name, the kid from the Jazz.
Shout out to the kid who doesn't know his name.
Oh, man, I forget it, though. It's slipping my mind. And I was thinking about it earlier in the show when we were talking, because he won the 3-point contest, and I forgot to say it while we were talking about it.
Yeah, I completely forgot who even won that. But yeah, I don't know a damn person on Utah, so they're out of it.
Well, I don't have anything other than that with the NBA, though. I mean, I have some NFL stuff that you weren't going to be super excited to talk about, but I'm in. Can I rapid fire you? Hit you with a couple questions? We could talk about
I guess
college basketball.
Be a short show.
Before we get to the NFL, I'll talk about college basketball really quick. The Big 12 is better than people, better than it usually is. The Big 12 and the SEC. The SEC has been much better in basketball this year than it usually is. But the Big 12 is too overall. West Virginia is that team to watch out for. I still think Nova and Duke are the two best teams in the NCAA. Trae Young, he's going to be a top pick. He's the guy that everyone keeps talking about. In college, he's averaging a double-double. First person to average a double-double in the NCAA in like 20 years. It's points and assists. His team has lost 6 in a row because they're just shutting him down. Because in college basketball, they figured out how to just shut him down, and the rest of his team is garbage. So, no. The answer is no. They do not win. And I think in the NBA, he's going to make a good NBA player as long as there's obviously a team around him. But I don't think he's going to come in and be like some crazy worldly stunner. Also, he's a little small. So it's going to take probably a year or two for him to get adjusted to the NBA length instead of college basketball. That's about my college basketball roundup. It's February. So, like, tournament time is right around the corner. So I guess we're going to have to talk about that when that comes. I have to watch more college basketball as well when that comes. I watch very little. Outside of my Temple Owls, who, as always, roller coaster of a season.
Everything Philadelphia.
Shout out to my Temple Owls, though.
So you want to talk about college basketball and completely ignore this Louisville thing? Is that where you're going with that? Because you... Really?
I have it written down. I don't know. All right, so... I talked to you before about how the 4 assistant coaches on 4 different schools got arrested and Petrino got fired. This stems off of that. It happened where they were taking money from shoe deals, obviously, giving it to boosters, doing random things. There was also a scandal that came out a couple years ago about how they were having prostitution at Louisville. We know the why, so let's get to the meat of it. They took away the national championship from, 2012 or 2013, whenever they won in 2014.
I don't know.
That little run where they were extremely good. There was a good 5-year stretch where they were a top 5 team every year.
Should they have done that?
Look.
That sounded convincing.
When I was younger, the player I hated the most was Reggie Bush. I could not stand him. In college football as a Notre Dame fan. They took his Heisman away years later, and I used to always joke about, they took his Heisman away, blah, blah, blah. But it's just a joke, because he still went through it. He still had the good time. He still held the trophy up.
Consider him the Heisman winner.
He was still the Heisman winner that year. He was still the best player in college football that year, without question. Whether you take the Heisman trophy away from him, whether you say that year is vacant or not, he was the best player in college football. I think it's 2004.
Nobody looks at it, though.
They took away those national championships from USC as well. Again, but they went through the steps. They won the championship. They held the trophy up. They were
still say that they were the
They
champions.
played in the BCS national. They played in the greatest game of all time the year after, and they lost. Does that game just not count because the 12 wins that they had that year not count?
Yeah, they played against vacant, I guess.
So Texas just ran the game-winning play against nobody. It was just
They played
a
themselves.
scrimmage.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was orange versus white.
So I look at it in the sense of I remember watching those Louisville games. I remember watching them win the national championship. I remember Petrino celebrating with the confetti coming down. He had drinks that night. He had a lot of monies coming in from boosters. He is still probably reaping benefits from things that he did at Louisville, which is a la win the national championship. So, no. Is it fair to the kids? No, because the kids had nothing to do with it.
I don't even think it means anything to the kids at this point. Like,
I don't either.
My immediate reaction is just what we were just saying about Reggie Bush was, I bet those kids who won at the time still say that they're champions.
They still have their ring. They still have their T-shirts.
So
they still have their jerseys with the Final Four patch on it.
I'm sure some of them are like, damn, that kind of sucks.
They still have a piece of the net.
You still have it.
They still own a piece of the net of the champion. That everyone gets a piece of the net. They still own a piece of that net.
And guess what? And when
they still have the picture.
And guess what? And when they walk down the street to people who don't pay attention to this shit, they say, yeah, I won a title. And people are like, oh, yeah, that's what's up.
No one's going to talk about how your title was taken away at your local bar. You're absolutely
Unless you're
right.
Jarrett Hood. No, nobody's going to have
I won't even try to bring someone down like that, like, honestly. Because I'm with you. I'm on your side. No, right. I would bring up, like, oh, do you think it's stupid that they took it away? But, you're absolutely right. Like,
I don't think it means anything to those people.
And okay, so
I mean, it might.
I am obviously a big Notre Dame. I'm a big Notre Dame and Eagles fan. Mike Golick played for both. His son played for Notre Dame, and I listened to it's Golick and Wingo now, but I listened to their show in the morning, and Mike
Golick and somebody who
else for like 2 weeks now.
Let's get on my nerves. Anyway.
Golick Jr., though, he played for Notre Dame in the year that they lost the national championship. In that year, there was a tutor who helped two kids study, and the tutor took a test for one of the kids at one point throughout that season. So this tutor took one test, which, again, not okay. No, I'm not saying this is okay, but, again, just bigger pictures. They took all the wins away from that year because that tutor took one test for one kid, right? Mike Golick Jr. says all the time, but I still had the fun. We still went undefeated, went to the national championship. They didn't take the test for me. I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
So those wins, those undefeated T-shirts that he has where they went undefeated and they lost the national championship, the BCS, he still played in the BCS national championship. He still...
Can't take that away.
They still beat Stanford on the 1 yard line. Like
you can still go watch that game anywhere.
Notre Dame still made over $1 million on that team that year in ticket sales and jersey sales and T-shirts. Like, you can't take any of that away. So Mike Golick Jr. looks at it as, all right, the NCAA doesn't count our wins.
I don't pay attention to NCAA, so
it
doesn't matter.
I still, right. So that's how I look at it. It's,
like, unless you're looking at the book of history, like, who cares?
But even in the book of history, as I brought up before, in 1968, the Alabama decided
the only one that even knows this.
The vacant 1962 national championship.
Alabama, looking at these pages, like, nobody cares.
Who finished 17th, decided to say, well, we were the national champions that year because it went unclaimed. It literally went unclaimed, so they just claimed that they were the national champions. That's how the NCAA works, and the NCAA recognizes them as the 1963 champions, even though they were 17th best team in the nation.
My point of people don't know and they don't care.
Right.
So this is a whole nobody cares. I mean, that's how I took it. I was just like, so. So other than these geeks who read these freaking things, and it's going to be in the story.
We always talk about how I
for the next
hate
couple
the
weeks, and then it's
NCAA. We
going
always
to
talk about how I hate the NCAA and how I think it's corrupt and how look they have their hand in it right now and they're trying to bring down 20 more programs and they're talking about 15 of the top 20 programs are involved in this right now and blah 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 blah. And here's my thought.
Y'all a little late.
It doesn't matter. So they stop them doing it right now. Okay, well, next year someone puts their hand in the cookie jar and they don't get caught, so they do it again. So they do it again and they do it again. And we get back to a point where everyone just does it all over again because they're reactive, not proactive. I don't know how you could be proactive about the situation, but I also don't think punishing the kids of today is a good idea. Also, punishing the kids of the past, what does that, as we just said, do? So, like, I don't know how to make this stop. I don't know. Right.
It's not going to. So, in the end, it's just kind of a waste, honestly. So these kids got some strippers and some hookers, whatever. They're in college, enjoy yourself, whatever.
There's 4 people in jail right now, not because of that, because of the shoe thing situation. Mm-hmm. One was a Louisville assistant, though, and that's where this thing starts to get crossed. Is like these guys go to jail for 8 to 10 years. Is it worth it? Like, no.
No. Well, no.
To watch them, because you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, because no one knows any of these 4 guys' names. There's 4 guys in jail right now, and they didn't get any of the benefits of the national championship. 3 of them didn't win the national championship. The guy with Louisville did, but 3 of them didn't even get a benefit in the national championship. The guy who won it with Louisville did, and he's getting called the guy from Louisville right now. So it's not worth it. No,
the only people that hurt in this situation are people with the money,
and they're not even hurting the kids. I mean, giving them prostitutes and strippers, I'm not condoning that, but they're not hurting the kids in the sense of, but in the sense of they're going to a college, they're getting a college education, they're winning a national championship, and the kids are ended up getting paid usually out of this as well. It's not necessarily hurting the kids.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I'm just going to keep this rolling.
So, I was going to ask you some rapid-fire questions.
Let's get to getting. We're getting's good, kids. What's up?
If you're the Vikings, do you franchise tag Case Keenum? Yes or no?
I'm so off guard by this question. We're talking about NFL. Christ. Sure.
I franchise tag him. I think that's the best idea that they could do.
Sure.
So, do you sign Teddy Bridgewater to a 2-year deal then? Then you got those 2 quarterbacks?
No, they're probably gonna cut him then.
We know we're letting Sam Bradford walk.
I guess you're gonna have. Well, yeah. I guess you gotta. Can't get rid of all of them.
You don't want to get rid of 2 of them. You want to keep 2 of them.
Yeah, I guess you gotta keep.
So franchise tag Keenum, sign Bridgewater for 2 years, let Bradford walk.
Yeah, I mean, put some respect on Bridgewater's name. He never lost his job. Like, can we just
Dwight? That's why I give him the 2-year deal.
And he was decent enough to.
That's why I give him the 2-year deal.
That's fine. That's what I'm saying. Like, can we put some respect on that man's name? That's fine. Yeah, give him an opportunity to come back. He got 0 opportunity, and he wasn't trash when he went out. Like, popular kind of opinion.
Dwight and Jarrett, as GMs, usually don't agree, but here we are agreeing. Look at us making progress here on JD Sports. Okay. If you were the Redskins...
I don't want to be that. I'd be in pig outfits and drag. Oh, they don't do that no more?
They still do. Just not on defense. Do you start loading up defensively because you already have your quarterback and your offense isn't... I mean, what are you going to... You need an offensive line, I would assume, is the only thing. But you don't want to go out and get weapons even though you don't have weapons. You're paying a lot for this quarterback now. So now, do you just start building defensively?
Well, if I'm Dan Snyder, I'm going to find... who's...
Albert Hazelwood.
I was going to say, who's an older, maybe washed-up player that nobody wants to pay max dollars to. That's what they're doing, yeah.
Talib.
Sure. Him. Is Revis available? Is he going to be cut?
Yes, he was cut by the Chiefs.
He's going to get... Okay, well, there's your starting lineup for your... Yes. The answer is yes. Stack up that defense, Dan Snyder. It works so well every time.
If you're the Jets, do you pay top dollar for Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
If you're the Jets and you pay top dollar for Kirk Cousins, do you put your franchise back to another 10-year span to being 10-6 and 6-10 throughout that entire span? Are you mediocre if you do that? Is, I guess, my better question. Because I honestly think if you're the Jets...
Mediocre is being better than trash.
Oh, well, okay. All right. And I'm not saying...
if you're the Jets, you don't have a whole lot
Do you think Kirk Cousins can win you a Super... Not the Jets. I'm saying Kirk Cousins. Is he a good enough quarterback to take you to a Super Bowl and win?
Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on what day of the week it is.
But if you have to overpay him, obviously you're not going to have the best chance to do that because your team around him is going to look a lot like the Redskins did.
Sure. But if you're the Jets, you're not in a position where you need to be arguing these points. You need to... Why don't you just get a quarterback that might be good for
Should the Broncos get in like a bidding war with a team like the Jets for him, or do the Broncos back off if he ends up being a little pricey?
Yeah, I mean, they probably should back off.
Because outside of the Broncos...
They probably should back off. I mean, the Broncos...
Jets,
like I said before, I think the Broncos experiment is about done.
Arizona, right, we agree with that. Arizona, and then the Cleveland Browns. Everyone's reporting the Cleveland Browns.
I don't think Arizona's going... I don't think they'll do it.
There's
nothing in Arizona outside of Fitzgerald, so I don't think they want to waste their time doing that. The Browns, didn't they just sign somebody?
I don't know, not a quarterback.
Or drafted somebody?
Yeah, in the second round last year, third round last year.
I don't think the Browns do it now.
They have the number 2 and number 6 pick, or number 1 and number 5 pick, or whatever it is.
No clue. I don't think the Browns will do it now. But the Jets, yeah, absolutely.
Do the Eagles trade Nick Foles?
If they're smart.
I say they don't because they want too much. They're asking too much for him.
And that's okay. I say if they're smart because I think they could probably get
too much for him. You think they can get too much for him?
Yeah. And they would finesse somebody.
I think that. Do you think like
but at the same time,
Denver or like Jacksonville or like the Jets, maybe Arizona, the teams that we've been talking about that need a quarterback? Do you think Do you think that one of them will overpay like right now for Nick Foles?
Somebody would. Yeah,
Iron's hot, so I mean,
definitely. I think
if you get someone to overpay for him, I say trade him.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Eagles could finesse somebody, but at the same time, well, I'm saying that they should probably do that and finesse somebody and get whatever they can for him. It still might be foolish just because. Why not? We don't know what Wentz.
You don't know if Wentz is going to be ready for Week 1, and even if he is ready for that, even if he is ready for Week 1, will he come back as strong as he was before? You have a guy you've proven that just won you a Super Bowl.
Not even that. I don't think you have to worry about that. He'll come back just as strong.
Agreed.
Sure, but
will he be ready for Week 1?
Not even. Well, yeah, but what if he gets hurt again?
Yeah. Okay.
They might just want to keep him. I mean, I would say.
Look, you signed him for a reason.
Play the field and figure out what the hell.
And he's cheaper this year than he was last year.
Sure. Yeah, and figure out what's available. Why not? It's not going to hurt. I'm sure they can, like I said, they're going to finesse somebody.
I know you haven't been watching
college
at all, and you don't know much about the draft, but I think the name coming out that I would watch for is Baker Mayfield. That's the guy who I think is the best guy coming out of the draft. He's not going to go until probably the second round like Deshaun Watson, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. But Deshaun Watson ended up being the best and I said it last year about Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. You could tell me all you want in these things in shorts and T-shirt, and Josh Allen, who is a good quarterback from Wyoming, and I think that he will have a good career. And the kid from UCLA, I think he's going to be good as well. And Sam Darnold from USC, I think he's going to be good as well. But I just think that when you take footage, like all I need is game film. I don't need these guys in shorts and t-shirt. The game film that I look at Baker Mayfield is
that's why you should look
he is better than the rest of them. He won more with the same talent that a lot of these guys are playing with. So I would take him over anybody else the way I would take Deshaun Watson. But Josh Allen, you're going to hear his name a lot. Josh Rosen from UCLA, that's his name. You're going to hear his name a lot, and you're going to hear Sam Darnold a lot. Those are going to be the names. Coming out of the draft, like I said, I would still take Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield might sneak his way up there in shorts and a t-shirt, but right now he's projected late first round, early second, which is crazy to me because, like I said, he was the best, as I saw with my eyes on tape. As much as I watched college football, I thought he was the best quarterback in college football last year. The Chiefs surprised everybody by moving up into like early first round, like 8th or 9th pick, last year and getting Mahomes. And Mahomes wasn't supposed to be until a second round quarterback, so they were even more surprised. People were even more surprised that they did that. Do you think there's any team out there, or if there is a team, like would you suggest a team to do that? Would you suggest like a
to do what for who?
To move up early to the second round and make a drastic move for a quarterback? Like a Denver or a.
I don't know anything about the college situation, but from what I'm hearing, the draft class for the quarterback situation is still kind of which has been that way for the past several years. So.
And everyone says every year it seems like we're getting watered down versions of quarterback drafts in the class, but honestly,
people are getting them later and later. They're not getting them early.
Yes, but they're still producing. Sure, as good as every other draft class is. It's just it's going into the season, the expectations are lower.
Sure. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure there's a team. Yeah, you probably name a damn team. What they do it, I don't know. Look, I'm gonna be real with you. The only thing I heard out of that conversation is we don't need to talk about the NFL Combine this year. That's what I heard out of that whole conversation.
You know how I feel about the shorts and the t-shirts, so we don't talk about the Combine, we talk about the draft.
We talked about the Combine last year. Go look it up.
Did we? Did we talk a lot?
But it's even the name of the video and I was like, this is life.
Did you watch Combine?
Hell to the no.
I did.
What? Why?
I think it's funny to watch them run around the drills, to be honest with you. I think it's kind of...
You have nothing else to do in the middle of, what is it, April, May?
Yeah, I think it's April.
March, well, I think it's, yeah. It would have to be the draft's like end of April-ish.
Yeah, I think it's early April. Maybe March.
You have anything else to do in March, April? Other than to watch the NFL Combine and...
Well, because it's on during the day, and then I watch the NBA at night.
Correct, as I said. Anything got nothing else to watch during the day?
No, not during the day.
I don't watch a whole lot of TV. Or something?
No, I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I watch sports.
You don't watch your soaps?
No, because usually at that time I watch the sports talk radio, so what's the difference if I'm watching the NFL Combine instead?
Put on the Weather Channel. There's a lot more things, but I'm sure they're entertaining. Just saying.
Dwight?
Put on the Spanish channel. It's a joke because he doesn't understand Spanish.
A little bit.
on the Food Network. I'm trying to Hallmark.
Dwight.
Name a bunch of boring things you can put on that will be more entertaining than
Baseball's
the damn
coming.
Combine.
Basketball's getting intense.
Speaking of boring,
Hockey is. I mean, the Flyers are making a comeback.
making a comeback.
They were out of the playoffs for a while. They're the 6th seed now, so they're on their way up.
Mazel. It's Philadelphia. They're going to bomb. It doesn't matter.
Football, they did not this year, if I'll remind you correctly.
I hear that one more time. I'm just gonna. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Thanks for watching JD Sports. Dwight, next week?
What's next week?
Well, I don't know. We'll have more to talk about. Isn't there an Elimination Chamber coming up this weekend?
Yeah, don't ask me what's going on because
All right.
no clue.
Well, we won't be covering that, but we will be covering more sports next week.
Actually, Elimination Chamber is this weekend. Actually.
That's what I meant, yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Yep.
Will we recap it?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Ronda Rousey's supposedly going to be coming out. That's going to be her first big thing, so.
We might recap the Elimination Chamber. If not, stay tuned for everything else JD Sports in the future. Thanks for watching. I'm Jarrett Hood.